Hello, everyone.
Hey guys,
Welcome back to Rat Race Runaways.
I'm Michelle.
I'm Jesse, and we are in Pocatello, Idaho.
Pocatello, Idaho. We are at the Bannock County Fairgrounds. Big shout out to Ben from His and Hers Vlogs on YouTube as well. He left a great review about this place, the only review, and he is totally right. This place is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome right now. There's not a lot of people here, but you got to catch it when there's not events. We had a few days where there were a lot of people packed in here, and like there were kids everywhere, noise constantly. But it was only for a few days for a baseball tournament, and now it's just us and like 2 or 3 other campers out here, which is nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots here. I mean, I think on their website they say there's over 100 spots here, and there's probably about 10 other campers here right now. So it's great because we have some room to stretch out. We've been here about a week and a half, and we were here through July 4th, and that was also interesting because a lot of locals came out because the firework display was only a couple blocks away, so we had a nice firework display here. But it's been great. We've enjoyed it, and if you're ever in near Pocatello, Idaho, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it's a nice place to stay. We're here today, though, to talk a little bit about how our Cougar gets its power.
Yeah, we've had requests to sort of do some videos about what it's like to live in an RV and also just how our RV works and how everything works in general. So we're going to talk about how our little Coug here gets power. So the first way that we get power or electricity to our little Coug travel trailer is through what we call the house battery. So we're here at the tongue of our trailer. This is where we hitch up to the truck. This big thing here actually houses our 2 propane tanks. And then this is our house battery. If you can see it back there, it's kind of in the dark, hidden a little bit. So this is one large battery. It's a deep cycle battery. It is similar if you think about like a car battery. And what this battery does is it provides us with a little bit of power. If Jesse can get the top off. So this battery provides us with a little bit of power to some essential aspects of the trailer. This battery powers the lights inside. It powers our automatic jack. Is that what I want to say? Automatic?
Tongue jack.
Tongue jack, yeah. It's the tongue jack, and it also powers the stabilizers, which are little feet that come down underneath the trailer to help keep the trailer from rocking around so much when you're walking inside. So those stabilizers in the tongue jack are powered through our house battery, as well as inside some of our lights and a few fans. So the problem with the house battery is, for starters, it's not a huge battery. It can't hold a whole lot of power, and even just running the few things it does, it will drain out fairly quickly if that's our only source of power. Now we could add more batteries. There's room on the tongue of our trailer for 1 more battery, but even with 2 batteries, it's not enough to really fully function. So for now, the house battery is sort of a last resort thing, just to turn on some lights if we're running in and out real quick if we happen to be traveling and maybe pulled over to the side of the road. But for the most part, we don't rely on the house battery very much. So let's talk about the other ways we get power that are a little more reliable. So the second way we get power, and my personal favorite, is through shore power. Now this, as you can see, is a very large plug. This is a 30 amp plug. It's connected directly into our Cougar travel trailer here. And this is what we use whenever we are at RV parks or anywhere that has shore power for us to connect to. So if you see behind me here at the fairgrounds, every spot has a large power box like this. If we open this up, you can see there's 2 different main power plugs. This one with the 3-prong acceptor is for 30 amp, and the 4 is for 50 amp. Larger RVs like big Class A's and some fifth wheels will need more power, so they actually have 50 amp plugins. But for our small trailer, we just use the 30 amp. So whenever we plug in, everything in the RV works. It all runs off this power. Our slides, our lights, all of the outlets inside, everything works for us. Whereas on the house battery, none of the outlets work because the house battery is straight DC power, and the outlets inside that you would normally plug, you know, hair dryers, blenders into, those need AC power, which the house battery does not provide us. But when we plug straight in with shore power, we get power to everything. An additional thing that we use is a very large surge protector. So you can think about like when you're plugging in your computers into surge strips, they're supposed to help against power spikes. This is the same thing. It's just a bit beefier to help protect our electrical system in the RV. You never know at an RV park or fairground or wherever you're plugging in at, you don't know how stable their power is. You know, there could be low power surges, high power surges. And we've heard of incidents where people had a high power surge that damaged their RV. So this surge protector is actually here to protect our RV from that. So basically all we do is we plug into this first. And then this has the same 30 amp plug, which we then plug in to the power box. Nope, and we ran it under here. There we go. So we just plug that in, and once that's in, we get power to the RV, and this is all the power we need. It can run our AC, it can run everything. Feels good, man, especially when it's really hot outside. So that is probably the easiest and beefiest way for us to get power to the RV. But of course, that doesn't help us when we're trying to boondock or trying to camp somewhere where there's no available shore power to plug into. So let's talk about how we handle those situations.
All right, so we have two batteries we mentioned earlier, I believe, and we showed you one. The one we showed you is an old technology battery that's still very prevalent, called a Marine Deep Cycle battery, which is a flooded lead acid battery. It's kind of older technology, but it's inexpensive. It's what our camper came with. We'll eventually probably beef that up some more. But in here, we have the newer technology, and we have a lithium battery. We have it stored under the bed here. This is our lithium battery setup. It's a Battle-Born battery. Here we can see the readings on it right now. We're not using it right now, and it's almost fully charged still. But this battery is a new technology compared to the one outside. The one outside, any type of lead acid batteries, you can't fully discharge without causing permanent damage to them. And the battery capacity is rated in what's called amp hours. So if you have, what we have here in this battery is 100 amp hours. If this were a lead acid battery, we could only get 50 amp hours out of it without damaging it. But with these newer technology batteries, you can fully discharge them. So this gives us a lot more capacity and a lot more charge cycles than a lead acid battery. And it doesn't need to be vented either. There are types of lead acid batteries that you don't have to vent, called gel batteries, but they have the same problem as the others about discharges damaging them. This is the new stuff. The problem with the new stuff is that it's expensive. So we paid $1,000 basically for this battery, but it gives us a lot of flexibility, and we don't have to worry about damaging it by over discharging it. When we first got started out here, we discharged the house battery completely 2 times by accident, by leaving our vent fans turned on too high when we were disconnected from shore power and we didn't have any other power coming in. It eventually ran that battery outside fully dead 2 times. So we know we've damaged that battery, and it's so easy to damage it, you can do it without even realizing it. But the battery still works out there, and we'll keep using it as long as it does. This one we can fully discharge without worrying about damaging it. So it's ideal for when we're disconnected from the grid. We can use it to generate power when we're not on shore power. All right, we're back outside now, back at the front of the camper, and this is our pass-through storage. There's a door on both sides, and it is storage that you can pass things through. Well, inside here we've put our inverter charger, which connects to the battery you just saw a minute ago. And that box creates wall power, 120, so you can plug anything you normally plug into a house into this power cord coming out of it. And the power cord we run to whatever we need whenever we're not connected to shore power. We also have here a charge controller, and that's what we use with our solar panels, which helps recharge that battery you saw inside. Also, there's a regular power outlet that comes off the inverter charger that we can plug in to our generator and run our generator to charge up our boondocking battery, which is the battery, that's what we call the battery we have under the bed. We try and rely on it as much as possible when we're boondocking, so we don't stress the battery on the front of the camper, the house battery. We don't stress it out as much, and maybe we won't run it empty as many times. Our boondocking battery is charged a couple of different ways. It can be charged through this, which is our inverter. This is wired directly into our inverter. It's a standard 120 plug. Many pedestals at RV parks will have one of these on there, and I could just plug it straight in and charge it up. It can also be charged by the solar charge controller I showed you earlier. But when we're in a place where we don't have power, we don't have any hookups, I can take this and charge it using our generator. This is a Generac generator. It is 2200 watts starting power and 1800 watts running power. So we can plug that wire into here. There's a standard 120 outlet on here, and charge up our battery with the generator. We can also run our whole camper minus the air conditioner with this. What we do with it is we use this adapter, which has 120 on one end and then 30 amp on the other. So we can plug the camper directly into this and plug this directly into the generator right here. And that will allow us to power up the generator as if it were on shore power with the limitation of the wattage. So if we try to turn the AC on, we have an issue with it tripping this out, trying to draw too much power from the generator. We're working on a mod for that, and maybe I'll have a video about that before too long to see if it works or not. But we're going to try that, and if that works, then this generator will power our camper when we're disconnected, basically, as long as you don't turn too many things on at one time. It'll also charge back up the battery on the front of the tongue when we have this charged up. So when we're boondocking, we need to run this for a few hours each day in order to top off our batteries. It depends on how much solar panel power we catch during the day as to how long we have to run it in order to fully charge the boondocking battery. But we always have to make sure now we run this a few hours each day plugged into the camper. And when it's plugged into the camper's electrical system charges up the lead acid battery on the tongue, the house battery.
So just to recap, the main, most powerful way we can get power is to be at an RV park or somewhere else where we can plug the big RV plug straight into shore power. That gives us as much power as we need and powers everything we could use. When that's not an option, we have two batteries. We have the weaker house battery that is old technology that really only runs our lights and a few fans. And then we have the lithium battery that we installed ourselves, which is newer technology. It has more power capacity and can give us more power for more items inside the RV. But we do have to use an extension cord right now because it's not connected directly into the electrical system of the RV. But that's okay. And then we also have the generator, which we can plug our whole RV into the generator, but the power of the generator will run almost everything. It won't run the AC most of the time. It's just not powerful enough, but it can power everything else. And we also use the generator to recharge both the lithium battery and our house battery when we can't plug the RV in somewhere else.
We're back inside the camper now, enjoying the benefit of shore power, which you can probably hear, and maybe you can see in my hair moving, is our air conditioner.
Yes.
Right now, we can only run the air conditioner when we're hooked to shore power.
Yeah.
Or if we're in Archie, Louisiana, then we can run it off the generator for some reason. I'm guessing because we were at sea level there.
Yes.
And those generators are more efficient when they're running at or close to sea level. Most of the places we've been have been several thousand feet, which lowers the output of our generator. So we have to take that into account when we're going to boondock in an area where we're at high elevation. I've got a thing in the works. Maybe it'll help with that. Not sure yet. Hopefully it will.
Yeah, unfortunately, ever since we basically left the South, we can't run our AC unless we are hooked up to shore power. And it is July, y'all, and it's been hot for a while now. So most of the places we're at, even up here in Idaho, it's getting into the mid-90s during the day, and it's hot.
The most important thing we've found whenever, like the temperature, dealing with the temperature, is shade. If we're in these elevations, these areas, it's not very humid. So if you can get in the shade, it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So it helps us out some, but we definitely need the AC on days like today when it's pushing 90.
Yeah, and unfortunately, most campgrounds don't seem to have very much shade. There's been one campground that I can think of so far in our travels that had a nice bit of shade, and that was in Lava Hot Springs, Idaho. Man, that KOA there was awesome, right by the river with tons of shade. But that has been the only place really that had any substantial shade that would help cool the RV itself.
Yeah, so that's what we've got right now. We could upgrade to a more powerful generator, but that means carrying around more weight. And that generator we have now already weighs about 45 pounds. So we don't, if we moved up to a 3,000 watt one, it would be doubling the weight of the generator and doubling the area it takes up in the bed of our truck.
It would double our power too. We could probably run the AC off of a larger generator or two generators linked together. But, you know, right now we're not in a position where we have to have that. We are staying at campgrounds more, and hopefully we'll be doing more boondocking when the weather cools off and we won't need the AC so much. But as it is right now, we have several options for how to get some power. Ultimately, the most critical things for us are powering our laptops so that we can work. I have to work, Jesse has to work, so we need to be able to charge our laptops. And obviously staying cool is critical, and since we can't really do that on our own systems that we have, the batteries and the generator, we have been opting to stay where we can plug into shore power.
And it's really nice. You take for granted bulk power until you don't have bulk power.
Yeah, you do.
It's really nice just to be in a campground like this and be able to use as much electricity as you want.
Yeah, just turn the AC on and not worry about it.
Yeah, you can set it as cold as you want in here or whatever and not worry so much about it. But we have to be very power conscious when we're not hooked into the AC, into shore power.
Yes, when we were boondocking in Penrose Commons, that was when we accidentally ran our house battery too low twice.
Yeah.
You know, we charged it back up by plugging into our generator and also putting out our solar panels, but we ran that down twice too low without even realizing it, and we weren't even running anything major off of it. You know, it was just the fan for our Fantastic fan, which was, we were trying to get airflow through the camper because we had no AC and it was hot, and the lights, and that just
it was too much for that old technology.
Yeah, that little bit really did it in. So that's why, you know, we are exploring the other option of having the lithium sit up. You know, we may expand that even more and tie it into the RV at some point. We're not exactly sure, but at least we have options.
Our inverter charger is really overpowered for what we use it for, but I bought it that way thinking about the future. It can be tied in. It has enough capacity to run our entire camper as if we were plugged into shore power.
Right.
So I bought more capacity than we needed for the option of expanding it later and tying in the RV. But right now they're two separate systems.
Yeah, and it works for us for now. You know, we've only been on the road for about 2 months, and we're still figuring out exactly what works the best for us and what doesn't.
And we didn't void our warranty yet. I was worried a little bit about that until we got a little bit of time on the road to make sure we don't need the warranty.
Yeah.
I'm not so worried about voiding it if everything's working fine, but I don't know. I didn't want to avoid it right out the gate.
Yeah. Well, we hope that this video helped explain a little bit to those of you who aren't RVers or maybe curious about how we get power in our RV. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave a comment. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. And hopefully we'll be making more videos like this in the future to explain, for those of you who don't RV, or maybe you're just complete noobs at RVing, we'll try to explain how more of the systems work, like the water and the waste tanks and other aspects like that.
Thanks for watching. If you would, give us a subscription if you haven't already subscribed, and we'll keep making more videos for you.
Yeah. See you guys next time.
Thanks. Where am I supposed to be looking again?
You know where to look. Wait, where did... Okay.
All right. You can hear the big benefit of shore power. I'm not looking at the camera. All right.
It's right there.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I just wasn't doing it for whatever reason. Are you ready?
Yes.
Inside the camper, we can see.
Okay.
You're killing me.
I'm sorry. Okay. All right.
Inside the camper, we can see the.
I got hair in my mouth. Okay. Are you gonna start, or do you want me to start?
Greetings, my YouTubers. All right, let's start that one over.
Okay.